Hello guys, here once again, Mark Souza. Just trying to bring you my first video of a new car that I have built. It took a long time, actually the entire year since Tilsonburg to make this car and to make it raceable. And it took a long time, a lot of hard work went into a lot of different parts. Just a video that I wanted to show you guys the car and how I got it to the way it is right now. So now we're here talking about the build. Basically, it was just like it was a long build, definitely. Did not even expect it. My original plan was to make a two-wheel drive, so I had nothing ready whatsoever for the four-wheel. So we went to Hot Rod Hobbies in Hamilton, and that was actually my first day with driving the car just the way it is. And it was actually a little different. The motor was actually sitting. Just have a little motor here to demonstrate. It actually sat in the back with the slipper in the rear of the car. I still have the hole right here for it, and the motor sat in the back. And then I had the saddle pack just right here, right in the center of it. So the motor was sitting back there, center there, speed control, and then receiver was up in the front. And it actually worked really good that day. It was had a little misfortune in some of the qual. Was able to get in one really good qual and qualify second in the B, which was, I guess, okay for the first day with the car. And was I don't know, had a good start to the B main. Made a pass on lap 2, and it's just kind of a clean race. Had no crashes whatsoever in that race. And going into the A main, I had everything ready. Batteries were charged. Didn't change nothing from the previous main. Went in there trying to do really good and had a little mistake in warm up and hit a pole, which has been catching a lot of drivers all day long, and broke the front. So wasn't exactly how I wanted to do. We tried to get it fixed right before the actual main started, and then it just had a bad start, and I just decided just to pull it off and call it a day. But overall, I was very satisfied about the day. I think I had a great first impression with this car, and just kind of worked on it a little bit, and it was good after a while. So I had the slipper in the rear, and yeah, just felt like it needed something else. And then I drove it at NRC one time, and it didn't really work out too well, but didn't even drive the rest of the day just because I was struggling a little bit with it. That was the time where I changed a lot from the first weekend at Hot Rods, and just was wrong changes. So wasn't happy about that weekend, but you know, we kept going. We went to Nitro Challenge. That was 8th scale. Went to Midwest, so we haven't drove for a while. Didn't drive again the weekend. Just was kind of working on the car all day and doing some different things to it. And then as it was, a couple days after that, I found that I can actually make a way to put the slipper in the middle of the car, which is actually make it a lot better to use. So as I'm doing the build and everything like that with the slipper in the middle, and then I find I had two shafts, one in the front, one in the rear, and I was able to kind of keep the slipper in the middle of the car. And now I have just a little demonstration here of the motor. You can just turn this around. So I have a conversion here that I can do. Is I can either run the motor in behind like this and mount it like this, and you swap the slipper around, and then you can run shorty pack that way, or you have an option to keep the slipper the way I have it, and you can put the motor actually, let me show you, up front like that. Personally, this is the way I run it, with the motor way up in the front. I just feel like it is a lot better than running it any other way. And I drove it like this one time, and it drove really well. So yeah, we have the motor in the front. Then we do have the saddle pack in the rear, and the motor sits in there like that. That's just the way I wanted to do it for this, and it's better. So yeah, then you just run the shorty back here, and I have a mount and everything ready for the shorty pack, and the motor sits back there. So by the time everything goes, it actually has a very even balance between the motor and the battery. So I actually have a rear shock tower over here that I found, and I found a lot of them too, that has this type of design, this type of shape, and I figured I can actually design it like that for the front As you can see here, the front shock tower is different from the rear. What I did is that I just kind of trimmed off a lot of the edges and made it a little more lower profile. Made these little sinks in there almost just to kind of give it that little look, and so I can have some space here to put more holes in there. It currently just has 2 right now, but for another shock tower I will be putting more holes in there. And so with the slipper in the rear of the car, this whole plate actually came together. This piece in the middle was not here, and servo was just on this side, and motor was over there, shorty, and then the receiver. Yeah, everything's good. Today, or actually yesterday, I got some new hubs here that I found that is actually going to be a lot better than what I have up here, because up here, what I found with this car, it actually has the hub and the screws that go in. It doesn't have the teeth, and then you can put the nuts on there. So I found it was better to put it just for the rear for now until I can get away to do a front for the front ones. And I do have a sway bar for this car. There's no sway bar on it right now, and I actually have a little bit of case here that I wanted to show you guys. These sway bars, one of them I actually made out of a little piece that I found that I actually had to make it. These pieces, I found them, put the sway bar on like that, so it's basically, the sway bar comes around down the back side of the car and just kind of pops in like that, and the sway bar just sits in the back. So yeah, that's the way it works right there. So that's the one that I use, just a black one. It's a little bit thicker. Next one I'm going to show you guys is a copper one, so it's gold. It's a little bit skinnier than this one, just kind of flexes a little bit more. And these are rear sway bars. I'm just looking through all here. They're all rear sway bars here. I got, yep, that's it. So now we go into the front sway bar, which is a little bit smaller. As you can see, it's a smaller size than the rear. So the front, same thing like it goes in the rear. It just goes like that, sits like that, and it just sits in the front like that. I got a black one. The silver one is actually a little bit skinnier than the black, gives it a little more flexibility. So there's that. So the front sway bar is obviously smaller, and the thing is, it doesn't have this little kick up, and it's not as skinny in the back. It's a little bit wider. So actually, you have a lot more movement with it. So when it sits up here in the front, if I can just set that down there. So when it actually sits down there and I have the piece, it sits up like that. And as the car goes, it just kind of gives a little bit more movement. I think it does a little bit more flexibility to the sway bar and to the front end. Then I got the rear one. Unfortunately, I only have a black one for the rear, not that thick. But it is still the same design where it's wider in the back, and I can have that option to do that. These shock towers is actually the exact same design, but it has a little bit of a stub here. It actually has a little piece that goes around the outside of the shock tower. This is a shock tower you can use if you want to put the shocks on the outside, which it's a simple thing. All you gotta do is just flop the arms around, and there you go. You can have the shocks going outside in the front. I've never tried it, but I'm sure you can do the same thing. Is you keep the shock up front here, and then up front in the front and the rear. It's about 4 or 5 washers there. The nut and the shock just kind of sits like that. The wing mounts is actually, I made them. I originally started off with 1 hole, and I actually made sliders. So I can just show you guys a quick little thing here. That's just the wing screws. And then right here, you just kind of loosen up these screws in the back. And as you see, you can actually move the wing up and down. So you can move your mount up and down. Usually I like to keep it a little lower, but that's just me. Kyosho, actually, there's some parts out here from other cars, of course. Kyosho links, turnbuckles, and everything like that. The back is actually, I have no idea what it is. To be honest, I just found this today. These pieces right here with RPM, with the RPM buckles, and the car is officially almost done. This is just like almost a little bit. I think I might do one more quick little thing to it to make it better, ready to go racing. But yeah, that's it from over here at the Sousa compound. Thanks for watching. Shaloha, Earthlings. Reset it, reset it.
It's okay, go. I'm gonna edit it, go.
Okay. Restart it.
What do you need to say?
I don't know what to say yet. I have to restart it. Originally, it had the saddle pack in the middle of it, so